and you will have the most wonderful, magical, delightful aquarium you have ever had. And you'll want to have more and more of them. And you'll want to keep more and more fish. Sick fish, they will be a thing of the past.
Well, hello. Come right on in. You're at Father Fish.
Hello, this is Father Fish. I am concerned about the health of your fish. Are you having problems with fish getting sick and not knowing what to do about it? If your fish are not healthy, it is because they are living in a tank that is not healthy. A healthy tank will always maintain healthy fish. If the fish is sick, it's not the fish's fault. It's the fault of the tank for failing to provide a healthy environment for the fish to live in. Here's what happens. When the environment is out of balance, the fish become stressed. When they stress, they drop their slime coat. It seems as though that would be counterintuitive. Nevertheless, that is what they do. That makes them vulnerable immediately to any pathogens or parasites that are in the water. And there are always pathogens and always parasites in the water, especially if the tank is not healthy. Let's look at how this happens and then look at what we can do about it. If you are feeding your fish every day and the tank becomes foul, the water begins to emit an odor, the substrate in the bottom begins to show a lot of decay, a lot of unhealthiness, then you have a tank that is not able to balance itself, and it quickly becomes unhealthy. So you go in and you clean the gravel and you change the water and you try to recharge it and get it started over again. And you do that week after week, month after month, year after year. It becomes common practice for you to foul the tank and then clean it, and foul it and clean it, foul it and clean it. That's the pattern. I maintain that really is not maintaining a healthy tank. That is preventing a tank from becoming sick by taking action and fixing it, starting over again. I don't believe that is what could be even imagined as a healthy tank. That is not a tank that is capable of maintaining healthy fish. Let me give you a better plan. Let's go back to nature, shall we? Let's look at how nature keeps its bodies of water, its streams and creeks and ponds, ditches and pools, how it keeps them from fouling. Because they don't, unless something dramatic happens, but the pond has a biological system in it that allows it to overcome that pollution, that excess nutrition. That's really what most pollution is. It's excess nutrition. In other words, overfeeding. And not just overfeeding, but feeding into a system that is not able to do anything about it. What does nature do? How does nature handle this? What is it about a natural system that makes it possible for fish to live in there, for food to fall in, or grow up or in whatever other way find its way into the fish's mouth. The fish poops, the biology goes on, and it never needs to be changed, never needs to be cleaned. What is happening in nature that is not happening in our little fish tanks? That's an important question, and it's one we can answer with absolute certainty. We know, in fact, precisely why this happens, and we know, in fact, precisely what we can do about it. The first thing we see about nature is that the water is always the same. The water is what it is. Water flowing down a river, at a given point in that river, that water is exactly the same as the water that flowed past that point 10 minutes, 10 days, 10 weeks, 10 years before. There may be minor changes upstream that have altered it slightly, but by and large, it is identical to the water that has passed through. It does not change. Not quickly, not suddenly, not even gradually. It stays the same. What does that mean to you and your fish tank? Well, the first thing it means is that your water coming out of your tap, out of your well, is the water you want to use in your tank. Why? Because it doesn't change. It stays the same. Therefore, you know you're dealing with the same thing constantly, the same water conditions, the same parameters constantly. So you don't need to fix it. You don't need to throw chemicals into it to try to change it, to try to make it somehow better. It is fine and it is perfect just the way it is. Leave it alone. Oh, but you say it has chlorine in it or chloramine. Get a vitamin C tablet. One vitamin C tablet, 1,000-unit tablet, will treat 200 gallons of water, removing the chlorine, removing the chloramine, making the water safe, and even providing a solution that enhances the biology of the system. It is a natural way of getting rid of chloramine or chlorine. What do we do about the water becoming foul? Well, we have to put something in the tank that is going to change that dynamic from becoming foul to becoming something useful. What does nature do? Nature has created biology in the water and biology under the water, in the bottom of the water, if you will, the substrate. Every single body of water, minus ponds that are very old, which have mud at the bottom, every body of flowing water, a stream, a creek, a river, if it's moving steadily, the bottom is sand. Sand is the key. Now that sand is not gravel. It's not coarse. It's fine sand. Go down into that sand 2, 3, 4 inches. What do you find? Dirt. Where does that dirt come from? Why, it comes from all of the material that's floating down the river, precipitating into the sand, all of the dead leaves and plants, all of the fish waste, all the dead fish, all the everything that's falling in that body of water and precipitating through the sand into the substrate, creating dirt. That is the home for microbes, for tiny little microscopic life, bacteria, microfauna, macrofauna, fungus even. All of the animals that eat the waste and convert it to material that the plants can take up. It goes in this immense cycle of life, going through every living thing. Now, we really can achieve that in our aquarium. We do it by putting an inch of dirt, not any old dirt. We have a formula that we like. You can get it from us. We sell it, but we'll give you the formula. You can make it yourself. You put that formula of dirt in the bottom. The reason it's a formula is so it will last. So it'll have everything it needs for the plants to be able to thrive and for all of the microbiota to be able to thrive in there. And then we cap that. We put on top of that dirt 2 inches of sand. Why 2 inches? Because when you do that and you put water in, that dirt creeps up into the sand. If it's an inch of dirt, it'll creep up an inch. So you want double the amount of sand as the amount of dirt. That way that dirt's not coming up and out. It's only going into the sand. It's staying under the sand. The waste precipitates into that, is consumed, is broken down, and by putting a lot of plants in the tank, you're creating a cycle of life that allows that tank to be able to be genuinely alive and to thrive on the material that's in it. There's one more thing you can do. You can make sure that you have a good, strong biological system. How do you do that? Again, go out into nature. Oh, you can buy it. You can go to Phillips Fish Works and buy it. You can find his link along with lots of other links at fatherfish.fish. But there's another way you can do this. Won't cost you a penny. Go out to a creek, a stream, a river, a pond, and collect a handful of leaves, decaying leaves, leaves that are breaking down. Put them in a jar, fill it with water, bring them home, and put it on the windowsill. In a matter of days, you will see life in there. Begin putting that into your tank a little bit at a time, just small amounts, until you have about a third to a half of the tank with a buildup about 1 inch deep of leaves, leaf material. That is nutrition. That is food for all the microscopic life. As it gets broken down, you need to put more in. So now what have you done? If you have little fish in your tank, you're feeding them by feeding what they're eating, which is the microscopic life. They're eating the little daphnia. They're eating the scuds, the worms. They're eating all of the life that you're encouraging to live in that tank. Learn to do this, and you will have the most wonderful, magical, delightful aquarium you have ever had. And you want to have more and more of them, and you want to keep more and more fish. Sick fish, they will be a thing of the past. You will not have sick fish anymore because you will have healthy tanks. So join with us. Join with us in creating natural aquariums. Aquariums that are alive, that are a slice of nature, that bring you in touch with the natural world. This is Father Fish. Be sure to visit us. Again, go to fatherfish.fish. You'll find all the links for everything Father Fish there. Join us. Be a part of this wonderful future that we have outlined for the tropical fish hobby. Love you all. Bye for now.